Acknowledge that we are meeting in the traditional lands of the First Nations that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. In particular, I acknowledge the history, spirituality, and culture of the territory of the Anishinaabe Nation, people of the Three Fires, known as Ojibwe, Adawa, and Potawatomi Nation. Further give thanks to the Chippewas of Saugeen, the Chippewas of Nawash, known collectively as the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, as traditional keepers of this land. We recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to this area, as well as contributions of the Métis, Inuit, and other Indigenous peoples whose ancestors share these lands and waters. May we live with respect for each other on this land, and live in peace and friendship with all its diverse peoples. May which. Prior to today's meeting, the board met in closed sessions to review and discuss matters that, in their opinion, fell under Section 35 of the Police Services Act and also Section 24 of the board's general policy on board governance. Moving on to item number 3, approval of the agenda. Have a motion for that, Ian? Thank you. Brian, thank you. All in favor? Declaration of conflict of interest. I think we're asking an agenda. The minutes. None. We don't have any presentations or public questions today. Confirmation of the minutes of the public session held January 31st, 2024. Cindy, thank you. Ian, thank you.
Yeah.
All in favor? Business arising out of the public session minutes of January 31st, 2024. Hearing none. Correspondence received, just through the letter from Orangeville Police Services Board regarding inter-department violence resolution. I'm taking, we're just taking these for information unless somebody has comments on what they'd like to respond or anything like that. We also received a notice from the Crime Stoppers at Red Bruce during their 32nd annual golf tournament. If anyone's interested in attending, they should fill out the form of the board package. There's also a report from the Poverty Task Force, their annual report. It's really good information. It's startling information. That report, you get a chance to read it. And there was a resolution from the city of Cambridge regarding catch and release laws. Moving on to Chairman's report. On February 7th, I attended the OSPSB meeting via Zoom. I'll try and condense the 2.5 hours meeting into like 6 minutes here. Finding on that. And I'll send you this afterwards. In addition to the regular minutes review and financials, the Chair Patrick Weaver's report to the board highlighted that it is the OSPSB's responsibility to assist membership boards become compliant as efficiently as possible, and our board's first priority is to support mandatory training and completion for all board members. Training will be a long-term initiative, and as such will be updated and improved on an ongoing basis. As you know, the OSPSB has partnered with the PAO, the OACP, and the OSOPA to bring our collective memberships to the CSPA summit that's being held on February 27th and 28th. And Mr. Ian, were you going to that, or is anybody else going to that CPA summit on the 26th and 27th and 28th of February? No.
No, I'm at nuclear conference next week. So.
They've had to add another room, another 150 seats for the presentations, because there's approximately 600 people going to attend this. The Collaborative Working Group on Recruitment and Retention also met with the Solicitor General on January 12th. This meeting was to share information and the efforts of the working group to date. More information will be coming on initiative in future meetings. Executive Director Lisa Darling's report focused on key successes and work undertaken in 2023 in relationship to our action plan for 2023 through 2025. Here are some of the highlights that work has been completed. We've been able to develop a stronger relationship with Solicitor General's Office, CAPG, PAO, AMO, and the OACP. Development of training for municipal boards on budgeting and overview responsibilities under the CSPA is scheduled for February of 2027. And actually, that should be budgeting is scheduled for March 4th and 5th. It's coming up. Also, they attended the evidence-based policing conference in Barrie. This conference outlines the benefits of evidence-based policing initiatives in yielding positive outcomes. And some of you remember the presentation that Chief Colby did for the Well Police Services Band Zone 5 meeting. He gave a presentation on evidence-based police budget. Numerous meetings were held with staff to review and enhance the communication strategy and develop an implementation plan that is effective yet manageable given limited resources. Police also reported on the WSIB working group, who was chaired by OECP, and had its first meeting on January 10th. And it prioritized the concerns and issues that were put in the buckets of work by the working group. And those included practice and policies that can be changed, education, legislation, and ownership. The decision on how to proceed with these has been delayed until after the WSIB presentation at the next meeting to provide information and statistics to help the group prioritize the buckets of work. Lisa and her team has also attended a number of detachment and municipal board meetings across the province with a focus on preparing for the new detachment boards. She continues to meet regularly with representatives from this office of the Solicitor General's office, AMO, OECP, and PAO. And Lisa and Pam, one of our trainers, they have been attending training development meetings along with selected members of boards across the province. And due to the timelines, they will be working to get the mandatory learning completed for current members appointed to boards under the CSBA. For 2024, though, we focus on enhancing communications both with members and the public for 2024. A robust communication plan has been developed to facilitate the sharing of information with members and creating a platform for future expertise, supporting the areas of legal, hiring, and evaluation of police chiefs, collective bargaining, and finances. In addition, our website phone application will be sharing information through the distribution of our chair and executive directors reports as part of the general newsletters, informing membership of work today and future endeavors. And a number of forums are planned for 2024 to support members and provide guidance regarding concerns or questions had during the time of the change. That concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions. There's been a lot of work on it. The OAPSB has really changed from what it used to be 2 or 3 years ago. Bringing it on, it's some of the initiatives they're doing, plus they're working with close to this the ministry and areas like that, plus the OAPC and PCO and those things. So there's a lot more visibility for them, and their plan is to have a lot more visibility coming up in the future. Moving on to CSBA transition. The email from Dwayne was included in your package, and I guess you saw the notification General Jennifer Wells at OEPSB about the municipal board training we talked about earlier on March 4th and 5th. And I suspect there'll be another announcement soon coming in March for the mandatory training times and dates. Moving on to reports from Inspector Bishop. He's not here.
Can be Dave today. So for the criminal investigations branch, drug enforcement, and the intelligence unit, we still have our 3 homicide investigations on the go. They're all in various stages of investigation and disclosure for the court proceedings. I'm just going to touch on some of the highlights out of the report here. We had a sexual assault investigation where CIB members assisted uniform patrol. An investigation regarding sexual assault in December made by employees of a local business against the general manager. To date, 10 victims have been identified and interviewed, with the matter still being investigated, and an arrest was made in February. A 58-year-old male was charged with 25 criminal offenses, mostly against youths, in addition to sexual assault, sexual interference, and sexual exploitation. The male was held in custody, however, were released by the courts for a future court appearance. Other sexual assault investigation involving 2 female youth, aged 12 and 14, who reported that they were touched inappropriately while they slept by a 36-year-old male who was known to them. Joint investigation was commenced with Bruce Gray Child and Family Services. Male was arrested and charged with 2 counts of sexual assault and 2 counts of sexual interference, and that male remains in custody. With regard to drugs, patrol member conducted proactive patrols, which resulted in a traffic stop, led to 2 individuals, one from Brantford, one from Mississauga, being arrested, and 144 grams of fentanyl and 52 grams of cocaine being seized. That's an approximate $34,000 street value, in addition to $10,000 cash. And then CIB executed a search warrant on the vehicle and located other elements of drug trafficking there. For our MHART units, there was 5 referrals, 3 follow-ups, 1 community consultation, 7 incidents they responded to, in 1 case referred to the STAR table. Training, they, along with other members of the service, were doing their annual block training, use of force, etc., and also members of CIB provided training during the block training period to uniform members on topics including domestic sexual assaults, missing persons, and technical services. In January, we had no suspected drug-related deaths. Unfortunately, in the first week of February, we've had 2 that look like they could be overdose deaths. The year of 2023 ended with the Vincent Police having investigated a total of 11 deaths from suspected overdose. In 2022, we had 6. A total of 14 in 2021, and 8 in 2020. And there are no outstanding missing persons investigations. Includes from investigations the drug report.
Just one comment on that. Dave attended a seminar last week posted by the Northern Communities. We were invited to attend with the Northern Communities on drug toxicity. And when we're extrapolating all the numbers based on population, the number of drug toxicity deaths here is far higher no percentage than they would be in some of the big cities per capita. But again, I will put the number to that, saying that that's if you use the 22,000 on the sign. If you use the 40,000, then it's more in line with what it is elsewhere across the province. So I can't pick and choose what population is using.
There's no other questions. I can move on to the auxiliary report. Starting January 1st, Sergeant Gurney has transitioned into the role of auxiliary liaison sergeant. Sergeant Gurney had previously been an auxiliary officer himself for 4 years, and he looks forward to working with the unit for years to come. The auxiliary unit was busy assisting the uniform branch during the month of January with ride-along hours. They volunteered a total of 209 hours for the month. They have several members who are planning to attend the Coldest Night of the Year event on February 24th. This event is a family-friendly walk in support of local charities serving people experiencing hurt, hunger, and homelessness. They also assembled a team of members who participated in the Polar Plunge for Special Olympics, hosted by the West Grey Police Service on February 17th. And they will have their annual use of force training on February 26th, delivered in-house here by Constable Velios and Sergeant Gurney assisting. That's it for auxiliaries. Moving on to the core unit. Thankfully, we've got our core unit members freed up from the homicide investigation. So they can get out and do the important work that they have to do. They had 33 hours foot patrol, 16 criminal charges, and 15 warrant arrests and 2 provincial offenses charges laid. They conducted proactive foot patrol in the area of safe and sound in an attempt to monitor ongoing concerns which have been identified by the staff there. They also spoke to neighboring business owners in an attempt to address some specific issues they were having down there. They met with Grey County Housing and Canadian Mental Health Association to discuss future partnerships. They met with Probation and Parole as part of an organized monthly meetings dealing with high risk and repeat offender management. They had a coffee with a cop event at the Fresh Roots Cafe, and they assisted the OSHARE staff with safety planning regarding their new in-house dining arrangements. Foot patrol was conducted in the River District, some Grey County housing units, some East Side businesses, as well as the Heritage Mall. And the rest of their report outlines some of the investigations that they were involved in. And as part of the operations plan during their foot patrols, they've been introducing themselves to local business owners and stakeholders in the River District and discuss some of the business owners' concerns. They provided information on crime prevention and environmental design, which some of our members have received training in. That concludes the core report.
Any questions for Becky? Bring on to frontline patrol.
So in January, frontline members had 88 HDA charges, 22 compliances, 45 cautions or warnings issued, 122 criminal code charges, 112 bylaw or POA tickets. That's mostly in regard to the snow bylaw for parking, and 104 hours of foot patrol. We had 23 on-duty ride checks, and in addition to the 551 drivers checked, we also had 46 snowmobiles checked. Amounted to 17 and a half hours of ride, and 7 HTA charges or warnings were issued, and 3 impaired driving charges were laid during the month. For collision statistics, average month with 42 total collisions, 20 on the east side, 3 on the west side, and 19 in parking lots. 22 of the collisions were referred to our collision reporting center, and 20 investigated by our officers. There's no questions. I can move on to community services. Go ahead.
Just one, under the Highway Traffic Act, the charges are down considerably from a year ago. Is that because of the weather maybe, or?
Partly, also, it ebbs and flows with our criminal code charges if officers are spending more time on investigations and calls for service, and we're also down in our part-time officers.
I noticed criminal code charges are way up, so that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For community services, our community services officer has been busy planning and participating in the Citizens Police Academy, which is ongoing. He had a meeting with Eastridge and Hillcrest on safe schools matters. He was planning with the city on the Wheel and Ride event. Also partnered in that is the River District, Kiwanis, the Youth Optimist Club, OSPSB, and St. Mary's. Planning for the Polar Plunge event, the Grey Bruce Crime Prevention Action Table, meeting with the school boards, and also the Elf Street Resource Center. some of the training and presentations. He had bus patrol training, that's Notre Dame School. It's at Hillcrest for presentations for the grade 7 and 8s on youth and the law. Alexandra School on social media awareness and internet safety. And at Eastridge with grade 7 and 8s. Also smart online and hate speech acceptance and inclusion training provided there. And also met with folks at the Beth and Ezekiel Synagogue. Some of the events, he was at Alexander School as a guest doing guest reading there on some safety issues, Bell Let's Talk, and also up at Georgia College with the International Student Program. And he participated in some training with Waterloo Regional Police on diversity, acceptance, inclusion, and recruitment team. There's some pictures from some of the events. One of our members, Lisa Brady, on Bell Let's Talk Day, and also up at the Georgia College campus. There's no questions. I can move on to lost hours training.
Just and how many people are in the community services office?
Just one.
Just one.
He tries to get the core team to help him, our training officer, so he gets what resources he can to help him out.
So lots of work, that's for sure.
Yeah. So for lost hours in training, we had 17 members report sick or injured during the month for a total of 317 sick hours. We had 3 members on WSIB for a total of 354 hours. Training during the month, most of it was block training done by all of our members. And we also had 1 member attend the automated license plate reader trainer course down in St. Thomas. That's the cameras that are installed on our cruisers that automatically scan license plates. So he will be providing training to the rest of our members on that. That's it for my results.
Thank you, Inspector. Moving on to the next item, Director of Civilian Services.
I can cover that for you, okay? Give me a break. So you'll notice the new format. It was broken down before. We used to do a records report, a courts report, and a bylaw report. Part of our updating and modernizing and providing you more relevant information. We combined the 3 into one as a Director of Community Services report, and it includes all 3 of them. And we tried to add some relevant statistics. So the records report, you see the monthly bulk searches, and then it compares to the previous year. And so we're doing some comparison statistics for you. And then the same month of the year previous, and the previous month, year to date, and then the percentage change. So we're up slightly, and warrants executed up significantly from 54 last month, 60 this month, and a year ago was 44. So that there are a number of warrants being executed. Number of persons charged are down slightly from the month prior, but up slightly from the year to date. So courts now, all the courts remain open and hybrid. The majority of person custody court appearances still remain virtually, either the police service or correctional facility, but the number is increasing of in-person custody appearances. That results in increased special constable hours to cover those appearances. Also, special constable hours are higher this month because of defensive tactics training that was provided to all members in January 2024. So that's a bit of an anomaly, just to point it out. So when you look in the graphs below, you'll see this month is higher, but that's the training associated with it that we're doing in January. Other than that, the custodies are up from 2023 and up significantly from year to year from the previous year. So everything's coming back to where it's supposed to be. One positive is a note on that is the court security funding went up slightly from last year. Based on our increased costs. Bylaw, new taxi driver application was deferred. We spoke about that last month at the meeting. Before it appeared before the board decision to make the license would be denied. So correspondence was prepared and sent to the applicant advising the denial. Financial implications, obviously, for security increases number of appearances, increases the cost of running courts. That's all for the courts, for the community services report.
I like the new format.
Like the new format. It probably provides more context than how many adult entertainers came in and were like, for everything. And that's what we're hoping to provide you, is a bit more information. So we'll be continuing with that new format. So we'll move on to the Director of Corporate Services and Director of Information Technology. It's combined with the OSPSB report. So human resources, during January, the vacancy rate for communicators remained at 3. 4 new hires from December started the training in January, so they were just onboarded this month, or last month, pardon me. There were 426 hours of mandatory overtime, due in part to some member accommodations. 911 calls, they represented 159 calls per day over the month, a 5% decline last month, decline in volume compared to the previous January. Down, we'll go down through to the reports and statistics. You can see the incoming 911 calls are down in January, which is nice to see. Hopefully the numbers and the rates decline as well. Moving back, information technology. There's been a lot of meetings and a lot of work focused on the integration of NG911, both for ourselves and some of the hosted solutions that we're running. The development of the call hosted solutions, obviously we met with a number of vendors, including Bell Canada, trying to finalize things. There was some work done to provide redundant access into the building, so that now Bell Canada can provide the redundant system around to the building. There was 4 weeks of combined training amongst IT members for security and NG911. Provided some further quotes, and for NG911 funding spent in order for others to spend that money. 2 PSAP dispatch locations as a grant for NG911 Eastern Ontario, currently 9 sites. 9 client sites with possibility of more onboarding in February. And we met with Bell to migrate administration capabilities of an existing legacy phone system. So we're hoping to get rid of the existing legacy phone system in March and move totally to our new upgrade. Right now we're running 2 different platforms, so we can finalize that work. That's it for that report. Subject to any questions. For those, you'll see that everything is that right now is down from last year slightly.
It's nice that the no answer 911 calls have gone down
Yes,
so much.
it's significant work to follow up on those by our dispatchers. That helps significantly. We discussed that briefly as well, talking about crime prevention and community safety and how that ties up lines. I'm hoping to move that forward. Try and get some changes with the manufacturers. So just any questions? I'll move on to the financials. So this is, it's not completely finalized 2023 year-end statement, but it's very close. You'll see in the first page there, the variance is $199,750. When we go down to the next page, we can go through the breakdown of the different areas. So I'm not sure if you can see that, but basically the police services board came in about $7,200 under budget. The officers came in $2,600 under budget. The civilian line came in $4,885 over budget. And our significant costs and overrun were for courts and prisoner security, $213,000. As the courts opened back up and we were suffering from a decrease in our provincial grant funding to cover off the costs of running the courts, that certainly hit last year at a significant rate. The funding was quite a bit less than had been budgeted, and the costs were quite a bit more as a result of some things coming back online and prisoners coming back into custody. All the other areas were pretty much, when you're looking at the volume of money in and out, when you're off by $4,000 or $20,000, $26,000, it's really not that. It's pretty close budget. Any questions relating to that? We can go through each of the lines if anybody's interested, but thanks. Okay, moving on to the chief's activities. I was off for 7 days in January. Spent some time doing dispatch meetings for the Owen Sound Emergency Communications Center. HR interviews. Went up to Georgian College for a recruiting presentation. The Police Foundation students there, in-service training session with staff. So I came in early each morning and met with each of the service training sessions and just had an open dialogue and questions and interactions with the staff. And then as well, I've been trying to get downstairs and meet the communication staff for just an informal sit down and talk. Anything's open, anything's on the table, if they have any questions they have to ask. So spent 2 days reviewing the CSBA, the new regulations. There are significant changes in a lot of different areas. With the special constables, a bunch of different things set up. Took quite a bit of time. Opioid working group, Citizens Police Academy, attended a couple of sessions. One session there, the opening night, and I've attended since then as well. The courts, Bruce Police Leaders Call. There's been significant changes relating to disclosure protocols with the Crown. The disclosure protocol now is everything has to be out, everything has to be done within 2 weeks. So there's a significant draw on both officers and records in order to keep up with that demand, and as well with the communication center for tapes and disclosure and anything if it's relevant. So that's come out through the courts. It's mandated that we have to meet that disclosure protocol, and it's just been passed along to us. The meetings have been on how we are going to implement it, how we're going to make sure that we meet those needs.
Is it a court decision, a Crown decision, a Queen's Park decision?
Court's decision. The courts through the Ministry of the Attorney General mandated that this is the new disclosure protocol. It was sent out to us for consultation, and we received it for consultation. We had a month to get back to them, and at the same time it went out saying this is the new direction from the courts. So the consultation was limited as to how successful it was going to be in changing it, but we did have some input, but very little. It's typically a decision that affects police. It's made by another agency, and we have to modify our practices and how we do things in order to meet those needs and requirements. It has to do a lot with the backlog for COVID, setting dates and not putting them off, and the Jordan decision and being able to move them through the courts. And they want to be able to have it streamed into either a trial or a resolution within, I believe it's 6 months. So they want everything up front, disclosure provided right away, so that somebody can retain counsel and move it through the system faster.
First appearances don't normally happen for a month. First appearances usually, unless that's changed, approximately 1 month after, unless it's a bail situation. Bail situation, the brief is put together anyway. There's no reason to have it done within 2 weeks when the first appearance is for a month. Then the person retains their counsel and.
Yeah, so now the first appearance is scheduled. Appearances are 2 weeks. Everything else is scheduled, but I believe they're all coming down to 2 weeks.
Yeah, no more than 3.
No more than 3. And they want everything so they can provide it to them at first appearance and say, here you are, you have everything you need to make a decision. So they're streamlining the process, trying to get it through the court system and streamed faster, more efficiently.
I've got better recommendations than anyone. I've been out there for a few years.
Yeah, it's, as I say, this is the direction that we've been given across the province, and then now it's a matter of meeting those protocol, meeting that protocol. Also did well, there's 1 hour that month, but we've had further meetings with Carleton University Research Project. So there was an opportunity came across the desk, looking for communities to look into studies to try and work with mental health and delivery of mental health programs, identify gaps in service delivery for individuals. There's been very little research done in smaller, mid-sized communities. And part of that's because of the workload and the demand. So part of it's, getting people to come. They were willing to come to the area and do a research project here. So we pushed it forward, trying to do a research project on mental health, the gaps in the system, where the issues are, what the problems are locally, and servicing the needs of this community. So we're just in the final process of getting that approved and moving forward. So hopefully it'll take place in the summer, and it'll be something that's paid for through the Canadian Police Association, the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police, and the RCMP Association. So, it'll be very interesting, and it's going to be one of the first studies that they've done in a smaller community. I attended the Immigrants Work Employer Consultation Meeting and Grey County and Long Sound housing updates. And then did my day job.
Doing it off the side of your desk. Yeah.
Reach is here.
Reach is here. Okay. Good time to.
Are we good to have a break?
Sure.
Okay.
All right, moving on to 17A, transportation bylaw, third and final reading. Just before we go to the motion, I'll let you know that I exchanged emails with Brianna Bloomfield, and regarding the issue of the new regarding their issue on the private transportation companies requiring a city business license. She noted that the city only requires a business license for businesses that have a physical location within the city of Owen Sound. And any transportation business that's not located doesn't require a business license. That's, I think they've just updated their bylaw recently, so ours was out of sync. She also reviewed the new section 5.6 on our new private license, which states that every person who applies for a taxi broker's license must include with his or her application an approved business license issued by the city of Owen Sound if such a license is required. So her comment for that was she thinks that that addition provides flexibility, and now our two bylaws align. So she was happy with the changes that we made with that. So she's on board with that. So that being said, Ian, could I have the motion for the third and final reading?
Okay, so this is a motion to move it as drafted, so it wasn't amended again after talking.
No,
Brandon.
no,
Okay.
no. So we did first and second and said, okay, this is what's been done to date. She was happy with that.
Okay, so moved by Sunit Kukreja, slow down here. I move that bylaw 2024-01, bylaw to license, regulate, and govern brokers, owners, and drivers of taxi cabs and other vehicles regularly used for hire for the conveyance of passengers in and about the city of Owen Sound, commonly referred to as the transportation bylaw, be hereby deemed to have been read a third time and finally passed, signed, and sealed.
All in favor? Carried. Moving on to item number B, false alarm bylaw. Third and final reading, and Cindy, can I have the motion, please?
Moved by myself and seconded by member O'Leary that bylaw 2024-02, a bylaw to control the incidence of false alarms within the city of Owen Sound, be hereby deemed to have been read a third time and be finally passed.
Same aye. Yes, 2023, she just did 2022. I think.
I have 2020.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Okay, so all in favor? Just trying to mess me up with the all in favor, weren't you? All right, moving on to item C. The admin fee bylaw, third and final. Brian?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Moved by myself, second by Mayor Body. The bylaw number 2024-03, a bylaw to establish administration fees for services provided by the Owen Sound Police Service to control the incidence of false alarms within the city of Owen Sound, be hereby deemed to have been read a third time and be finally passed, signed, and
Second
sealed.
part. You're right, the second part of that, I was a bad couple things. I did the first part already. But I think we know what we're gonna do, that in the minutes, it will come out correctly.
Yes.
Okay. So, all in favor? Thank you. Moving on to item D, opportunities.
Yeah, thank you. So you can see in your report that Optic, which is the Ontario Police Technology Information Cooperative, there's 27 municipal police services, the OPP and the enforcement branches of several ministries. OC Transpo, University of Toronto Campus Police, VRL Police, their day-to-day functions, they serve about some 10,355 police officers, 4,269 civilian support staff. It provides records management systems and period dispatch through a data network of two of the approved agencies. We're a member of that, have been since the start, and they've struggled to maintain their costs for several years. And there's been several updates in the IT related things. Salaries have also increased significantly over the years in order to attract and retain qualified staff. They're not affected, they're not immune to the fiscal changes affecting all police services, and the membership fees have increased for several years. due to reserves and injections of funding from onboarding other agencies. In order to meet the current obligations, a significant fee was required in December 23 at the Optic AGM. The proposed annual user fee went from $85 to $197 per user. As well, the definition of user was updated to make it more consistent across the services. And so it included all part-time members instead of being able to say a part-time. You know, if there's 2 part-time, that's 1 full-time. So our increase in numbers increased significantly because of the number of part-time employees that we hired. So our Optic fees for 2023 were $71,000, just over $71,000, including HST, and our estimated fees for 2024 will be 84,500, approximately, including HST. So that's a significant increase. I believe that in this year we'll have the ability to cover that, but moving forward in the future, we're going to have to increase our budget amount when we do our draft budgets. So it's more of an advisory than anything. There aren't really any options, cost-effective options to move to another platform, and to host our own solution would be much more expensive. So this is information, basically subject to any questions.
Moving on to website update.
I can do my part.
Yes.
I participated in an online training session for day 1 on February 12th. It was an all-day session. It was a lot to digest, I should say. The testing phase and the time frame for updates design run from February 14th to the 29th. And then there's a check-in meeting with GovStack on March 6th. There will be extra time for updates until around March 14th, and considering a tentative go live of March 20th.
Will we be advised that when it goes on the board? I mean?
Yes, yes.
Okay, because we don't meet until April 24th.
Yeah.
So we've got it all planned out, what's going to be in it and everything else. I would still have to get back to what?
Yeah,
Yes.
we have what we're gonna put on there, it's just a matter of creating and then uploading.
The trees.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I still have to get back to you on some of the things that are
Mhm.
required in a CSPA, such as how many years of minutes.
Mhm.
Business plan has to be there.
Yes, I think that's on,
GG,
there's
yeah.
some of the stuff that we wanted that's already on the website.
Yes.
So we're just gonna have a link directing you to that page, so that it's not clogging up more space.
Oh, okay. So we're limited in space.
Not in space, it's just a matter of,
It's more work to add it twice.
Okay,
To
gotcha.
do the tree as opposed to just directing it to what it's already.
Gotcha.
It's a lot more user friendly than the last one, but it's still, you know,
Work in
what I
progress.
understand, and I didn't participate in the training, but I still understand it, say, it'll be a lot of work to get it up and ready and going, so,
It's still a beta site.
right now, yes.
So I think then after it's up on March 20th, if all the board members could make a note to take a quick look at it, see if there's anything that you see that isn't there and you'd like to be there. I think probably sometime in April or May, we'll get the policies and bylaws loaded as well. It's not to overwhelm the system day 1.
In case there's any change on that, that's you, Kayla, Kayla will know when it's live. We can send it home, so.
yeah.
Very good. Moving on to the 23-26 operation plan.
Yeah, so.
Progress report.
Thank you. So part of the commitment and keeping the operational plan moving forward is 6-month check-in. So end of year 1, check-in and update. As you know, there's 14 goals and 50 specific actions within the priorities, and the attached provides you an update over all of those. And 2 actions have been completed. 3 actions are to be initiated in the plan's 2nd year, and the other 45 actions are all in progress. So we're making good progress on getting them done and moving forward. Promoting sustainability goal number 1, promote a plan for long-term succession. And one of those was completed. That was the long-term facility plan that anticipates future growth and updates. That was completed with the city facilities assessment in June 2023 for the next 10 years of what we need and what needs to be completed in the building here. The other completed actions are members goal 1 to promote members' mental and physical well-being by evaluating the shift schedule or rotation pattern to maximize members' wellness. In partnership with the Police Association, the evaluation has conducted of the new 5-4 shift schedule started in 2023. And the analysis found overtime and sick time were not significantly influenced, and the majority of members agreed that the new schedules improve their overall wellness and work-life balance. Most 90% of the actions are in progress as of the end of the year of the plan's first year, as shown in the attachment. Several tremendous efforts and initiatives going on across the service. Significant steps have been completed in year 1, while additional actions continue. And in other cases, the efforts in year 1 are part of ongoing efforts to solidify the actions into long-term standard business practices. A few examples: community safety goal 3 to address controlled substances, firearms, and violence crime by targeting drug and weapon traffickers and working with law enforcement partners to investigate and prosecute offenders. We've onboarded a new province-wide community confidential informant management system, so that's ongoing. And there's also a new template to improve information sharing within the records management system for what were there previously. We lost that ability. We didn't use that ability. Street checks were in the news, and they became regulated interactions, but there was nothing to capture some of the information that wasn't a regulated interaction, so we made those changes. On community wellness, the goals: preventative youth programming in cooperation with school boards and community groups. Forward with that, completion of 8 presentations to schools and students on internet safety and appropriate distribution of images through text and social media platforms and in-person after school program focused on safety. Promote professional development and training opportunities for all members. We're working hard on getting annual performance appraisals and discussions of professional development planning underway. So, and we've had some meetings with our senior leaders and with the mid-level managers. You can see as you go through each of them. I'm not going to go through them all, but the majority, as I say, are in progress and working well towards completion. The call review on the methods of review and call types response methods to police calls for service. We haven't started that yet. We plan on getting that started this year or later in this year, as well as reviewing alternative response methods to non-police calls for service. That's part of the things that still need to be looked at. And educating the community, obviously, on changes of new police delivery methods. Once those 2 are started, that can't start until it's done. So we know what those new processes are. Just an update, so the board's aware that we're keeping it front and center and moving forward on this action.
Very good. Any questions for the chief on your annual reports?
And I will have to Brett and Mark for keeping us coordinated and moving forward on all that. Workload does an amazing job tracking it and keeping up to everybody and making sure that they're. She's not here, but she deserves credit. Keep it that way. Okay.
Great. Moving on to item number G, annual reports. Down below.
So every year we do a sale of fixed assets and how we dispose of those items. A lot of the items that we have are IT related in this, and the computers, and because of the sensitive nature of the systems, the hard drives are taken out, obviously destroyed, which leaves very little value to a lot of computers. If you see the purchase dates, they're 10, 11, 12 years. This was 2009, so it's 14 years old. There's really no value to a 14-year-old computer when you've taken the guts out of it and corrected. So they're they've all been recycled. This is just accounting for where those items have gone and how they've been destroyed.
The only thing that I noticed on it, the radios that were decommissioned,
Yes,
can any of those be sent to Greenland forward?
yes, and so the portable radios that were of any use were recycled through Delaware.
Okay.
Ones that aren't and that weren't of any use, then they were just.
Recycled?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, just for one more item that I have, talking with the protocol agreement review. The current protocol agreement we have is approximately 17 years old, and it probably should be updated with the advent of the new CSPA. So between now and April, I'll be working with city staff to do those updates and to bring back a draft of it by that time. Just an information piece. If there's nothing else, we've completed all the items on the agenda, termination of the public meeting.